wicked problem? A wicked problem is a problem that is considered so complex and so intricate, with so many different elements and the changing needs of those involved, that it's almost impossible to solve. No single solution can solve a wicked problem, and often applying single solutions has many unintended consequences, which gives rise to a whole bunch of other problems. So today I would like to talk to you about why connecting the unconnected is a wicked problem, what the layers involved in this are, how the content economy can contribute, what needs to be done to achieve this, and what you as an individual can do. So who are the unconnected, and why is it important to connect them? So firstly, I would like to introduce you to two people. This is Cleo and Teresa. They run a company called Carbon Plus Media that does film and photography. They are entrepreneurs from Dipstewart. I met these two when I started working for the What If Trust, as you know, who runs an open workspace and tech hub in Dipstewart. As you know, Dipstewart, like many townships across South Africa, is home to many social ills. Gender-based violence, poverty, crime, unemployment, and HIV/AIDS is rife. There's a serious lack of service delivery, so a lot of people don't have access to basic services, healthcare, water, sanitation, and electricity. Average salary for men, 35 and up, is about 1,500 rand. I couldn't find statistics for women, but based on the dipstick research that we've done, we're looking at about 800 to 1,000 rand. As you can imagine, our 50% youth unemployment problem hits areas like this particularly hard. So just imagine for a moment running a business under these conditions. These entrepreneurs have a lack of access to basic business resources. They have the stigma of having a township address. And many of them are survivalist entrepreneurs. So they turn to entrepreneurship out of desperation to earn an income. So already they are starting their businesses from a place of failure. So let's look at the first layer. When we talk about connectivity, a lot of us presume and assume internet connectivity, Wi-Fi, access to data, mobile data, that sort of thing. This is a basic requirement, I'm sure you'll agree, to work, to run a business, and for a lot of us just to live. And supposedly, the race to get fibre into townships is on, but outside of a few areas in Soweto and Pretoria, the rest of us wait and live in hope. And outside of Gauteng, that waiting is even longer. But we do what we can. We give our participants access to business resources, the best data that we can. We give them access to devices that they can work from, respond to emails, and access the internet with. We give them a workspace, we give them places to have meetings, basic business services, printing, copying, that type of thing. We've gone a little bit further in giving a lot of them access to high-end computers with software where they can edit their footage and produce films. We've given them skills. We've done mobile film training. We do regular masterclass in basic business skills. We regularly have industry experts over to come and share their skills. We've done economic literacy. In fact, Teresa is in the process of completing her underwater cinematography course, which we're very proud to have played a part in helping her achieve. So now we look at the second layer, which is access to markets and networks. This has been dubbed as one of the biggest problems facing entrepreneurs globally. But we can help them with this. We provide networking opportunities where they can meet potential clients. We help them create digital presence, social media, and websites. We look for opportunities for our participants to submit proposals and help them draft these proposals. We use their services within our businesses so that we can provide them client references. So on the surface, we have made huge strides towards solving this wicked problem. But this is where our layers get a little bit deeper, a little bit more complex, and a lot more beyond our control. Because the third layer that we need to look at is infrastructure and mobility. Apartheid spatial planning, which is a legacy in South Africa, has placed township areas specifically on the outskirts of cities and away from economic hubs. It's not uncommon for people to spend up to 50% of their income on transport just to get to and from work. And that's not taking into account the massive amounts of time that they spend in this transport just to move around their cities. In fact, Cleo missed a very important meeting with a potential client because she couldn't get there. She didn't have the cash. She couldn't let the client know because she didn't have electricity the night before, and her phone battery was flat. So we can plug this little hole by giving Cleo a small loan when she needs it. We can provide her a space where she can charge her phone. But this doesn't help Cleo when our notoriously poor public transport system is on strike and there is no other alternative transportation. It doesn't help Cleo when the electricity crisis hits our open workspace as well, and then she literally has nothing. And this is when we realize that simple solutions are just not good enough. And once again, our layers get deeper, they get more involved, but they also get more subtle and more nuanced. Because the final layer that we need to look at is real world of work experience and the actual capabilities of these township-based businesses. So Cleo and Teresa, like many of their peers, have never been exposed to the real world of work. They never had the opportunity. And jobs, any kind of job, is often very far beyond their reach. So how does this affect them? Think about where you learned to be professional. All those many years ago, I probably learned a little bit of it from my parents, who were both professional people. But I really cut my teeth at my first internship at a big agency. This was where I learned how to take briefs, how to understand briefs, how to interpret them, how to give clients what they actually want. I learned basics like showing up on time and producing documents that don't have spelling errors in them. But most importantly, I learned about the standard, the quality of work, and the deadlines that you need to cut it in the real world. What often happens in these township-based businesses is that they end up serving their own communities. So they operate in this weird little bubble. This community has limited resources, so their client base is finite. But more importantly, their expectations of quality and standards are very different, and usually much lower. So the result of this is that these businesses are given a false sense of their abilities. They have limited growth. So it becomes very easy for our president to stand up and say companies must use township-based businesses in their supply chains to make them economically viable, to help contribute towards solving the job creation crisis. But the reality is so many of them just simply aren't ready. So how can the content economy help? Because that's what we're here to talk about today. In the past 3 to 5 years, content has become a focal point because it's nothing new, it's always been around. But it's helped businesses and brands build a stronger, more engaged relationship with their clients. But the content economy offers an ideal opportunity for Cleo and Teresa to learn, to job shadow, to get an internship. And many companies shy away from internships because there's this expectation of a job at the end, and then the devastation when that job doesn't materialize. Internships are also very difficult to manage because you're not dealing with people who are used to transferring skills. So it's great that you've got a resource that can make you coffee and wash your car, but that doesn't help them at the end of the day when they finish their internship and they're very skilled coffee makers and car washers. But what if we were to implement internship programs with the express purpose of building better entrepreneurs? And what if you worked with the right implementation partner in order to achieve this? In fact, Journal of Entrepreneurship and Small Business Management conducted research that showed empirical support for an increase in entrepreneurship intent and self-efficacy amongst a group of interns. And yes, the study was based on a group of university students and experiential learning. But think about the impact that an internship could have on somebody who returns to their company with better skills. But the benefits of the content economy go further because it is location agnostic. It doesn't matter where Teresa is sitting writing the script. If she's got the skills, if she's got the understanding, she could be anywhere. It doesn't matter where an occupational health and safety educational video is being filmed. If Cleo has the right resources, she can do it anywhere. And the other benefit of the content economy is that you can sell digital content on platforms. So you can stretch it beyond the region of the township and even beyond the borders of South Africa. And this type of engagement also limits face-to-face interaction because a lot of the interaction is done online. So that in turn helps solve our mobility crisis. And the flip side of all of this and the benefit for you, maybe you can learn something from these individuals. You can gain insights into the township way of life, how they operate, how they think, how they work. And think about the value that this could bring to brands looking to reach this community. What value would this kind of qualitative research and market insights give to them? So there is a benefit for you as well. But as I said, this is a wicked problem, and there is no single solution. Because the other thing that we need in order to achieve this is decent resources. And the dumping of waste in townships is commonplace. They get crap computers and crap equipment that sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. So we go to all of this effort to put these things into effect, to change their lives, to connect them, to grow their businesses, to make them better entrepreneurs. And then we give them crap equipment. Now, they don't need the best and the most expensive. We all know you can achieve amazing things with limited resources. But as industry professionals, you know that certain basics need to be in place in order to produce quality content. And a shared services model means that this equipment can be used by a number of businesses and by a number of freelancers. So it benefits many, many more people. So when you take these layers and you tie them together and you work with the right implementation partner, you can achieve great things. But more importantly, this will give you the opportunity to see the world through somebody else's eyes. And to quote somebody this morning, in a partnership, not worlds apart. Because finally, we might not be able to solve the wicked problem of connecting the unconnected, but we can make a serious dent by putting the foundations in place for these businesses to become viable suppliers to companies. Let Carver share quality content with the world. Just think about it. And how can you, as an individual, because we spoke about men this morning, contribute towards leveling the playing field? Thank you very much.